What's up, Dragon Ball players? It's Logan here with Crossworld TCG, and today we're going to be covering some of the green leaks that we got from the World Tournament side set. So let's jump right into it. Starting off, it looks like we got a green leader announced. It's another Goku leader. I mean, at this point we have like 1,000 of them, right? But still, pretty cool. It's got a nice effect. It's when this card attacks a leader card, draw 1. When your life is 4 or less, untap 2. It's a pretty good, pretty solid leader. And then on the flip side, it's when this card attacks, draw 1 card, and this card gains plus 5k for the duration of the turn. And when it KOs a card, you can switch it back to active mode. So I think it's pretty solid, honestly. It's a really solid green leader. It gives you the ability to make multiple tempo swings in a turn, and the fact that he gets big is really solid because then you don't have to put as much pressure on your opponent. They're forced to combo more cards to protect against his swings. So he's pretty cool. And I think we'll get to it later, but I think if Feet Kamehameha gives it critical for the turn, actually, is it double strike or crit? We'll see when we get to it. But there's a extra card that was released earlier that has really good synergy with this leader. Next we have Fateful Reunion Son Goku. I believe this was already released along with the Chichi, so I think we'll just skip it for now. And there's Trading Blows Son Goku. So when you play this card, if your leader card is World Tournament and your opponent has 5 or more cards in their hand, opponent chooses one and they place it in the drop. I mean, honestly, I'd rather have a card that searches for another card as my one-drop play for the turn or has more utility than this. But I guess it's not the worst in the world, but I don't see it seeing any playability. Aside from the fact that it is a searchable Goku, and maybe the fact that it's a one-drop that negs your opponent might come into play, maybe in like a Vegito deck or something in the future. I'm not sure, but it'd be cool to see. And then Fateful Reunion Chichi. Again, one of the new mechanics that they introduced with this set was to couple 2 cards together. So this Chichi along with this Goku, when they're both played on the field together, they get a certain effect. So that's kind of cool. But we've already covered it in a previous video. And next we have Marital Daughter Chichi. So this is looks like it's just a super combo for specifically World Tournament archetypes. Oh, okay, that's pretty cool. So you can play this in any World Tournament archetype, not just like a green Goku one. Draw 1 plus 10k, and it's when you have 5 or less. So a recurring theme that we've seen in super combos is that it's when they're 5 or less, draw the card instead of 4 or less. And I think from this point on, we're going to see a lot more of that. I think they're kind of boring. I wish we got some more interesting super combos like we did in set 3 with like Shugesh, the Android one, and I don't know. Maybe in the future we'll see some more of it, but until then we get these cool 5 or less ones that help. Alright, and it looks like there's a Speed Attack Piccolo Jr., 2-drop green, critical. It's just another quick rush. Pretty simple. Ooh, Double Impact Crillon. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 2 or less, ignoring barrier, and KO it. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. I don't know if that's worth the 2 investment into summon this card, but the ability to get around barrier is really cool, like really cool, and it's just another Crillon target, I guess, for anyone who wants to build a Crillon deck. The most notable thing that I think that this will probably get around is just those, what is it? It really hurts lineage decks, I think. Especially, or any other deck that might be trying to play Ox King to preserve their small drops on their board. But again, it's only when you play this card. If it was like a once per turn effect, it might be really cool. Moving on. Honed Moves Yamcha. So 3-drop, 2 green and a colorless. Critical, and when you play this card, you may choose 1 card from your life out as your hand. If you do so, choose 1 card from their hand, or your opponent does, and puts it in the drop. Okay, that's a pretty cool card. I mean, it's another green self-awakening tool. The biggest thing that I had an issue with from this set was that every single color got like these amazing self-awakening tools for 3-drops, and green got Namekian. That's like, I think it's Bond 2 Namekians. So like in a Namekian deck, of course, it's really good. But for every other deck, they're kind of SOL. Whereas all the other decks got, like, if you have anything, it doesn't matter. You just awaken immediately. So it's really cool. I think this is the best card so far, actually. The fact that you can neg your opponent while helping you awaken seems like a really solid card. I think this might see play in some green decks. I mean, of course, it has to compete with Caulifla, which is that 2-drop, which not many people are playing just for the essence of self-awakening. But if you're playing any kind of Veggie Engine, and then you're also playing Gohans, like that's already a lot of awakening. It's probably the third best awakening card for green. Although there's he's in this set, Tian Shinhan, but not the Tian Shinhan from this set. That's also a good green self-awakening card. But it's nice to see that green got another 3-drop that can actually help them awaken without losing cards like Tian Shinhan does. Moving on, Tian Shan trading moves. I think this was leaked earlier, and I think we covered it, so I'm gonna skip it for now. And then we have another Chaozu card. It says when you combo with this card during your turn, choose up to 1 Tian Shinhan in your battle area, switch it to active mode. That's pretty interesting. That's a really solid tempo card. I mean, it doesn't do much on its own, but it's a 0.5k. So, is it a 0.5k? No, it's not a 0.5k. I'm sorry. I lied to you viewers at home. That's my bad. Please forgive me. But I don't know. I don't think this is going to see much play. The ability to restand a 3-drop that doesn't really have barrier, it's okay. I mean, I'd rather just pay the energy to summon an Overwhelm card, or maybe, you know, like a Kaba or a Trunks. So I think this card's kind of outclassed. But if you're building a theme deck around Tian Shinhan and Chaozu, maybe. And then there's Trusting Relationship Kami, blocker, permanent. If Trusting Relationship Popo is in play, this card gains barrier. Okay, 2-drop barrier blocker. If the Popo doesn't cheat this out in some way, I don't think this will ever see play. I mean, it is. No, it's not even a Namekian. It's just a God World tournament. So I don't know. Trusting Relationship Popo. When you play this card, choose 1 Trusting from your deck, add it to your hand. Okay, so it searches it, which is kind of cool. But they don't gain enough effects from each other to actually warrant it. I mean, this is a free 1-drop +1. I think it'd be a lot cooler if it searched anything with Kami in its name rather than just Kami's relationship or Trusting Relationship. Mercenary Tao trading moves. This goes with that Tian Shinhan. Both of these cards are actually really solid tempo cards. This guy has the Tian Shinhan has barrier. But it does switch it to active mode. The duration of the turn against +5k double strike. Yeah, so they like switch each other from switch their battle positions to gain more attacks. Basically, it's an interesting card. And then moving on, we had this card released earlier, but I just want to reread it now to see if what its synergy is with that Goku. So if your leader is a green Son Goku, for the duration of the battle against +15k crit. It's only for the duration of the battle. That actually would have been really cool if it lasted for the duration of the turn, because then you could have used it and then restood your leader and swung twice for like this insane boost. But the fact that the power and the crit doesn't last until after the battle just kind of sucks. Feels kind of bad, but it's still a very good card. I think it's still probably worth playing in those decks just because it gives your leader the ability to pressure very similarly to that Double Strike Champa, except this is more damage and it's crit. And I think the comparison's already been made before with the Double Strike Goku. I believe it's from set 1, where this is very strong with that. But I think personally I would rather run a leader that has critical and then give it Double Strike with the Champa over having a leader that has Double Strike and then giving it critical. But moving on, it looks like that's it for the green cards. I mean, a little lackluster. I hope we get some more cool cards. I really think that this Yamcha is probably is really good for general green decks. Everything else seems kind of niche and underwhelming, to be honest. Sorry that I couldn't be some grand, explosive, crazy video, but I think the cards that we saw earlier, like this leader is really cool. I think the leader has a good amount of potential going forward. But I don't know about the rest of these cards. It depends. It seems like, though, that the World Championship stuff is going to is going to be like multicolor themed decks with all of these cards having tags that say World Championship, or maybe there'll be colorless support like the black cards that we got, like the World Promoter. We'll see more of him, and we'll see him being able to splash into every other deck with World Tournament to either give them more synergy with themselves, more searchability. I think that so far the cards we've seen, especially for green, are very underwhelming. Hopefully going forward we see some better stuff, and hopefully we haven't seen all the SRs yet, so maybe there's some juicy green SRs that are out there that we haven't seen. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. We'll be keeping up with these leaks as they come out, and stay tuned for more news here at Crossworld TCG.